Really also?
Yep.
Okay, hold off talking. Pat, you're live.
Welcome everybody to another exciting dive, an extra exciting dive today, because we are at a new site. So today I'm diving off a boat and I am down here at the Oro Verde, which is a shipwreck, or more so a wreck of a shipwreck. So the ship is not together anymore. It has been battered by hurricanes. So this is the remains of this shipwreck. Now I am Pat and I'm your underwater biologist today. On camera we have Rian, and on the surface on the boat today we have Lauren.
Thanks, Pat. It looks awesome down there. I'm really jealous. Can you give us a little bit of information about the depth and temperature?
Yeah, so I am at 16 meters deep, so about 60 feet down, and it is 27 degrees Celsius at the moment, which is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this shipwreck has a little bit of history, so why don't we take a look around it and I will give you all a little bit of information on it. So, it is called the Oro Verde because Oro Verde in Spanish means green gold. Sorry, I'm just going to go fix up this cable. And so, green gold, they called it this because it was used to transport bananas, and bananas start out green and go gold. But they were also transporting another form of green gold, something a bit more illicit, and the crew weren't clued in on this. So when they parked the boat here and the captain went to make his trade, the crew found out and they drove the boat away, but they got wrecked on the way because they didn't have their captain. And so it got wrecked off the northern side of this island, and then it ended up being deliberately sunken later on for diving, and since then it has been moved further down from where it was from its original dive site from hurricanes. And it's also because of these hurricanes that it's so ruined now that it's not an actual ship anymore.
What a fantastic piece of history there, Pat. So what are you hoping to see?
Well, there are rumoured to be some big Goliath groupers here, so if I could find a really big one, that would be great. I would also really like to see an eagle ray, because literally about an hour ago, Jared and Emil and Sergio, they all went down diving here and they did see an eagle ray, so hopefully it's still hanging about.
Well, I would like to see a loggerhead, please.
Oh.
And everyone else watching, please do send in your questions through the usual channels of Facebook and YouTube. If you are using Twitter, send them in, but make sure you use that hashtag diveLIVE. You can also send in any information you wish to hear, as well as questions and what you would like to see. Now, this is a new dive site for us, so we're not very familiar with it. So it's an exploration for all of us. Pat knows a little bit about its history, but we really don't know what we're going to see, so we'll do our best.
Now, we have a school of, I'm not sure of the species of this snapper, actually, but they are hiding under this ledge here. And this is a really good example of the type of support that shipwrecks provide for ecosystems. So obviously the ships themselves are quite complex in their structure, and this was made even more complex by the fact that it's been battered and thrown around a bit and broken up. So all of the little crevices and all the hangings and ledges it has created allows lots of little fish to make it their home. So quite often you'll see more fish at a shipwreck than what would be there otherwise.
Yeah, I was just trying to have a look for what species of snapper we have in front, but there actually is a mixture there. And towards the left there is some schoolmasters. Yeah, the yellow ones, they actually have faint bars down their body. They are the schoolmasters. The other ones, we're just having a check on the snow, and you can see that it provides a complete protected area for them. So it's a ledge of the wreck, or the wreck of a wreck, as Pat said, and it's just providing a safe environment for them to hide out in. So you can see their big eyes as well, just peeking out there. Yay. Got a nice clear shot of all these snappers.
Now, if we come and have a look over here, I want to show you all some hydroids.
Oh!
So we have a bit of a colony of feather hydroids right here. So I'll move out of the way, let Rian get in and get a shot of these. So these hydroids are very, very closely related to corals. And why they are related to corals is because they have polyps, just like corals. So a polyp is the individual animals that make up a coral. So these guys also have polyps, but this is only in their polyp phase. So right now they are in a polyp phase, but when they want to reproduce sexually, what they will do is they will release jellyfish into the water column. Now these jellyfish have sperm and eggs. They are just essentially packets of sperm and eggs. And so the jellyfish will release the sperm and eggs, and they will come together and make a larvae that will settle and then regrow into another colony. So they actually have two different types of life cycle, an attached polyp phase and then a free-floating medusa phase. So that's what we call the jellyfish phase, is a medusa phase. So that's very, very fascinating to me.
That's really interesting, Pat, and I think this is maybe one of the few times we've spoke about hydroids on a live dive, and we're getting a really good close-up of them right now. You can see them just hanging upside down on the wreck there. Now, Pat, I have a great question for you. Tesla, Lady Starfire's daughter, is wondering, is there any treasure?
There may be. There may very well be. So, as I said, the Oro Verde was a trade ship, and back in those days, trades could bring in all kinds of treasures. So, we will keep our eyes peeled and see if we can find the gold.
I want some too, if you find it.
Yes, of course I'll share with you, Laura.
So I've actually never seen this dive site. This is the first time I have ever had a look at it, and I completely understand what everyone says, a wreck of a wreck. So this shipwreck has just been completely torn to pieces here, but you can still see it used to be a ship. So I'm sure there's many animals using this shipwreck as their home, their protection, the place that they hide from predators or rest. So I'm sure if you look in and all around the dark places, there will be a lot hiding there. And I would love to see a Goliath grouper too, Pat.
sorry, Lauren, is it possible to get your audio turned up a little bit? I'm just having a bit of trouble hearing.
Sure, Jared is on that right now. Is that any better?
Not really.
What about now?
That is great.
Alrighty, if you need any more adjustments, just let us know.
Sweet, thank you very much for that.
So I don't know where you start looking in a wreck like this. There's just so much to see. Where do you start?
It's kind of cool that it's all broken up like this because it really gives different zones to poke around in and see what we can find. Now, I'm not actually sure what some of these structures are. If there's any engineers watching along, please feel free to chime in and tell us, because this looks like some sort of engine or mechanical.
I love you trying out your technical engineering knowledge there, Pat. So Pat is in amongst a big school of chubs there.
Yeah, quite a few here, and these ones are quite larger than the ones we get at Casuarina Point.
Is this the Bermuda ones or the brassy ones?
I believe these are the brassy chubs, but they all seem to be swimming with purpose at the moment. And we can really see how in sync they all moving in the same direction, at the same pace.
I actually think these are the Bermuda ones. The Bermuda ones are much bigger than the brassy chubs.
Okay.
But chubs are notoriously difficult to identify.
Yeah, they definitely are.
So we have a question from Daniel, asking when was the Oro Verde sunk. So I can tell you it was in 1980, so before I was born for sure. So this has been underwater for a long time, so lots of life will have formed on it.
And I pointed out before with the snappers just how that they use shipwrecks for homes and how other fish do as well. But it's not just the fish. So if we take a look at this engine bit thing here, we can just see the diversity of attached invertebrates just on this one little block. So there is so many different species here. There is grooved brain corals, there's flower corals, there's sponges of all different shapes, sizes and forms, there's tunicates. So I mean, the amount of diversity that's just on this one engine block is ridiculous, and this is all from the structure that has been provided by the shipwreck. So quite often when something is sunk like a shipwreck, then the structure that is left behind provides a perfect surface for other invertebrates to settle on.
Yeah, we can really see that. And just to acknowledge, there was some other divers in the background there. This is a very popular dive site, so there are other people diving nearby. Pat?
Yes, it appears that we have become the attraction.
Oh! Yes, so obviously people are interested in what we're doing. They will wonder who Pat is talking to and why he is attached to all of that cable. So please do send in your questions. It doesn't have to be about the wreck. It can be about any of the marine life we are seeing down here.
Okay, so we will come back to the wreck, but for now let's move off and onto this big piece of reef here. You can see that there's quite a build-up of coral, and we can see a lot of fish hanging around on top. So let's have a quick look over here.
Just to clarify, a few people are asking about the date that I said, so excuse my Scottish accent. It was 1980, as in 80, and it was deliberately sunk, yes.
Wow, so if we have a look here, we can just put a close-up of this sponge here. So this to me looks like a coral, but it is actually not. So I thought that all of the little spots all over it were polyps, but it turns out that this is actually a sponge. So we can tell it's a sponge because of all these little pores. But what is covering it, all the little spots, they're not actually polyps, but they're close. They are what is called a zoanthid. So a zoanthid is very similar to an anemone in their structure, and I think the main difference is that they have 2 rings of tentacles around them. So this is actually a sponge that has been encrusted with all of these zoanthids. So it comes across as one organism, but it's actually 2.
That is awesome, Pat. I've been looking to see this example of symbiosis for a while, and like Pat said, it does look like a coral colony from a distance. It isn't until you get close that you can see it is 2 different species living together. Another form of symbiosis.
Yeah. Symbiosis is really, really important down here, because there's just so many different species with so many different adaptations to life that it all kind of interplays, and something that one species does can really benefit another. And the fact that they can pick up on this and utilize this is amazing. And it's just part of everyday life on the reef, really. There is always examples of symbiosis, no matter where you look.
Of course, there is examples of symbiosis on the land as well, but there is a lot we find down here on the reefs. And there's a cute little sharp-nosed pufferfish in front of us, hiding out in the sponge.
Yes, they are very cute, and it's so good that we can show these fish to you all now using the zoom. Because they have such intricate little details, these sharp-nosed puffers.
Yeah, they're incredibly cute. I mean, what size would you say this one was?
Oh, about the size of your index finger, so no bigger than 5 centimeters or 3 inches long.
So, Pat, some people were just asking for clarification on the zoanthids, so do you want to spell that for everyone?
Are you putting me to the test here?
I am.
So, ZOANTHIDS.
Yes, so they were living on the sponge, and they actually benefit from that because they can stomach the poisonous flesh of the sponge, and the sponge will protect the zoanthid. So it's a perfect form of symbiosis.
And speaking of things that eat sponges, we have a queen angelfish.
Oh yes, we do. One of our favorites.
So this is a very beautiful species, in my opinion. They are very blue with that awesome yellow tail, and they are probably the 2nd most common species, or maybe even the 3rd most common species of angelfish that we get on these reefs, behind the French angelfish and the rock beauty.
We're getting a real good close-up of its little mouth.
Now we can see that over the gill coverings there, or the operculum, they have lots of little spines, and this is a feature that is unique to angelfish. Now, what purpose it actually serves, I do not know, but I believe, my opinion is that it could be to increase the coverage or the surface area covering the gills while still allowing it to open to prevent pathogens or other harmful organisms from settling on the gills.
So what Pat is referring to is that little bright blue spine at the bottom of the face, which is actually at the bottom of the gill covering. So it's bright blue and it looks like a sharp spine.
Wow, so I was just speaking about how the symbiosis exists between the zoanthid and the sponge. But if we come here, I've found it looks like well, it's definitely a hydroid, but it has been overgrown by, I'm not sure whether it's a coral or a zoanthid, but if we can get a close-up of this, you can see, so there's green polyps that I believe are from either a coral or a zoanthid, and it is overgrowing the structure of this hydroid, but it looks really beautiful.
We're not totally in focus yet, but I'll let you know when we are. Oh, almost. Yeah, we can see what you mean. So what Pat is pointing to is Hydroid, which he was talking about earlier. But there seems to be some form of competition, and he believes there's an overgrowth of zoanthids, which would be the small things with the tentacles that have grown over the hydroid. We're getting a really clear view of this, Pat.
That's awesome. Glad we can see things like this now. It really does open up a whole new world for us. But this is probably not good for the hydroid. It does look like it's being smothered there, but it does look very beautiful. And it almost, if you were to just swim over it, it almost could look like just the one organism.
Yeah, it's really beautiful to see these things close up because they're very intricate and very hard to see with the naked eye. So we can probably see it better than Pat can.
Yes, I wish I had some zoom just on my eyeballs.
Me too, me too. Good work, Rian. So Pat, CJ's asked a question about the angelfish, which I am really interested to know as well. So I'm going to ask you to see if you know. The crown on the queen angelfish, that blue spot, does it actually serve a purpose? Is there a reason it has that blue spot?
I honestly do not know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never thought of it before. I do believe it is just the coloration and the pattern of the queen angelfish, which is where the name originally comes from, but I don't believe it serves a purpose. I will check on that though. So you can see it has a really wide mouth here, so it can eat a huge variety of things, and it does look like it's feeding right now. I'm not sure what it's feeding on.
I'm trying to get a better look. It looks like it might be a coral that it was feeding on.
I can't see what it is, but I can definitely see that it's eating something.
Yeah. Yes, these angelfish are very hungry, and they're also pretty general in what they will eat. They have adopted a very wide range and tolerant food.
So Monique was asking, does the angelfish know how incredibly beautiful it is? And I'm sure it doesn't, but it really is just absolutely stunning. And Rian has given a good view of what it was eating, and it was in fact a sponge, which does make up 90% of this animal's diet anyway. Angelfish and hawksbill turtles are the two most common predators of the sponges on the reef.
Yeah, so they are a very hard food source to digest. They have a skeleton that consists of spicules. Well, it's not really a true skeleton, but these spicules make up its structure, and these are made of silicon, or silica. So you can imagine that you really don't want a stomach full of silica. And on top of that, as they don't really have any way to physically defend themselves, sponges have to use chemical mechanisms, and so they will quite often deploy deterrents or other, unwanted, undesirable chemicals so that things will not eat them.
which is probably why they are so brightly coloured, to advertise the fact that they're not tasty and please don't eat me.
Yes, coloration is often used to warn off predators or to display that the organism itself is toxic.
I can't believe the fish life down here. This has completely became a habitat.
It is teeming right now. There's a lot going on, and oh, it looks like we might have some groupers mating.
Oh, that I would like to see.
So there is 2 groupers right now, and one has been acting very strangely towards the other one, rubbing it and...
I'd like to see this strange behaviour.
The other one has swam off.
Oh, is that a big Nassau grouper?
Yes. So
wow.
the other one has gone now, but we'll still take a look at this one because this is awesome. We don't often see the Nassau grouper. Sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything. Australians have their own unique way of pronouncing grouper.
Can we still see it? I'm not sure. I'm over there.
I've lost it, but I think Rianne is trying to look in the cave for it. Oh, we got it. So right ahead is that really big Nassau grouper that's been cleaned, I believe.
Oh, awesome.
Wow, look how big that mouth is.
So yeah, I would say that this one is just a little bit under a metre, probably about 90 centimetres, so just about 3 feet long.
Wow, that is huge. I've never seen a Nassau grouper before I came here before. And someone was asking about the holes in the front of groupers' faces previously, just under the eyes, and they're actually all nostrils. There's the main nostril, and then there's the smaller nostril, which is about 5 times smaller. So in case anyone was wondering what that was, it was the animal's nostril.
Yes, it's pretty common that fish have 4 nostrils, so it's actually probably more uncommon to see a fish with only 2.
Yeah, I believe the big one is called the anterior nostril and the other one's the posterior nostril. So they both have slightly different functions, allowing the animal to smell. Pat, I'm so jealous of you right now, and so many other people are as well. They're really enjoying the different location.
Yeah, this is a really great dive site. There's just fish life everywhere. Because the chef has been so beaten up, it really is spread out. So there's a lot of distance that's covered by the wreck of this ship.
Lady Starfire was asking if octopus do live in shipwrecks, and yes, I imagine they absolutely would. So Pat, keep your eye open.
What was that for, sorry?
An octopus.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So yeah, this environment would actually be great for an octopus. So we'll definitely be keeping our eyes peeled. Now, I believe I have found here a mucus sac that's been left behind by a parrotfish.
Oh, let us see.
So when parrotfish sleep at night, or see if you can call it sleeping, they actually protect themselves by deploying a layer of mucus around their body. And this, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Lauren, but is it to mask their scent so that they can't be smelled?
Yes, it's to mask their scent, because obviously it's night time, so the predator wouldn't see them anyway, so it's to hide their smell. Oh yeah, we can see it, that transparent sort of floating bubble. Well spotted, Pat. That is a mucus bubble of the parrotfish. So some species of parrotfish actually eat the mucus bubble when they wake up, so they burst out of it. It's like a sleeping bag, if you like, a cocoon. Some of them just eat it right back up. and others will just leave it and it floats around like this.
It's actually a bed and breakfast for them.
Oh dear, that was a great one.
So, I don't know what species of parrotfish left this behind. There's no real way to tell the specific species, but we do know that it is a parrotfish.
Yes, the queen parrotfish is actually the most common one to produce the mucus bubbles. Not all species do it. So if I was to take a guess, it would be the queen parrotfish.
Actually, I do see a queen parrotfish off in the distance over here, so maybe that is it.
Very possibly. Now Pat, can we just have an air check please?
Yes. I am on 90 bar, so I have been at 16 to 17 meters this entire dive, so I have been using air a little bit quicker, but that's alright. It's been a great dive so far. Now, let's go over and check out this little section of the wreck over here.
Sure. So while we're going over, Kalina was asking, can the parrotfish reuse the bubble? And no, they cannot. So they will just get rid of it and abandon it when they wake up. It doesn't take that much energy for them to produce these bubbles, so it's definitely worth them to do it every night to protect them from the predators at night time. Pat, Proud Cat Mama was asking about how many groupers we can find here. Do you know how many species there are?
Oh, I couldn't put a solid number on it, but let's list them off. So we get the tiger grouper, the yellowfin grouper, the Goliath grouper, the gravebees, conies. So that's 5.
And hinds are actually part of the grouper family.
Yeah, so 6. I'm sure that there's more. Nassau, sorry, yeah, Nassau grouper. So that's 7.
There's the red grouper as well.
Yeah, 8.
And the black.
The black, gee whiz.
There's a lot. It's a really large family and it's grouped together with the sea bass. And randomly we have in front of us right now a bicycle.
Yeah, so it was a tradition for some dive instructors back in the day to take the boat out here and ride their island's bicycle off the boat and leave it there. So as we can see, there are quite a few discarded bicycles down here.
But actually we were able to see it when Rianne was a bit closer that there is, I saw some sponges, I saw some fire coral I think all growing on this. So this is most likely why they haven't been removed. They're obviously discarded a long time ago and have got life growing on them. So of course it's not recommended to throw your bikes down here anymore, but that's most likely why they've not been removed. Very weird to see some bicycles underwater.
I won't pick it up and try and ride it, but I wonder whether I'd actually be able to propel myself on the sand riding a bicycle underwater.
I'm sure it would be interesting to see you try.
Okay, well, let's come back off the sand. Actually, no, let's swim over the top of this part of the wreck. I really like this. So this must be the front side of the boat, I believe, and it's still in pretty good condition considering the rest of the boat's condition. So let's just go for a swim over the top and have a look. It's got some beautiful gorgonians growing over it, a lot of parrotfish, some wrasse.
Yeah, it definitely does look like the front of the boat, doesn't it?
And it always pays to look inside all the little holes because there might be a cool eel or something as well, or that octopus that we have been looking for.
Yeah, they all hide out in the holes, and that's why shipwrecks do actually make perfect artificial reefs, if you like, and habitats. A lot of areas where maybe the reefs have been heavily impacted or they're really struggling have actually resorted to putting down ships, even fake ships if you like, to create a habitat, because life will grow on it. Obviously this does have to be done properly, and it's not the case with the Oro Verde here, but in some areas around the world they have done that. Life needs a place to grow. It needs a hard substrate. So if the reefs are being damaged, then they need something to attach to. All these living things we can see are attached to the metal from the ship. Oh, this is really pretty.
That sponge is awesome.
It is. It's a yellow tube sponge, and that four-eyed butterfly fish is just taking chunks out of it.
So butterfly fish are very close relatives of the angelfish, so they do adopt a pretty similar diet.
Yeah, there is a lot of differences between them, and butterfly fish are much smaller, but they're very closely related to the angelfish. Oh, I think Rianne's giving us a look inside of something.
Oh, underneath here we have a rock beauty, but it's in its transition from a juvenile into an adult. So, no, it has disappeared on us. Hang on, let me see if I can spot it again.
Well, while you're having a look, Marcy was asking what is the fan-like coral that we were having a look at. So I imagine you're referring to the gorgonians. Do you think that's right, Pat?
Yes, I would assume so.
Yeah, so I think those sort of fan-like feathery corals are the gorgonians. If you're referring to the one that's ahead of us right now, that's the sea fan.
So they are, yes, as Lauren said, a gorgonian coral, meaning that they have a flexible, softer skeleton and an axial, and that runs on an axial rod. So that's why they are more rod-shaped and fanning and branching rather than the flat surfaces of stony corals.
And Monique has mentioned gorgonzolas, and yes, that's correct, they're gorgonzolas.
Bless them all.
So Monique also asked about sponges, and since we have some in front of us right now, Pat, do they have any defense mechanisms?
Well, they do. So they can't defend themselves physically, obviously. They don't have anything to move or any way to escape, or they have no way to move. They're stuck there, they're attached, and so their only option is to deploy chemical defenses. And so they will release deterrents and toxins and all types of nasty chemicals to keep predators away. So that's really the only way they have to defend themselves.
It's not a bad way though, and Paula was asking how long do sponges live?
Well, sponges can kind of grow indefinitely. There has been some found that have been estimated to be 9,000 years old. Now that is insane to me. That is absolutely incredible to think that such a simple organism that doesn't even have cells, I mean, it obviously has cells, it doesn't even have tissues or organs, to live that long is fascinating.
So some people are just tuning in now, and we are diving a shipwreck called the Oro Verde, which is quite a famous dive site here in Grand Cayman.
And on that note, I'm sorry if you did just join in, because I have hit 50 bar, so it is time for me to say my goodbyes. But thank you for joining me on this special dive. I really hope you enjoyed this shipwreck like I did. I thought it was great. And it's also just been really nice to have a boat day. So thank you all for coming down and diving with me. I had a great time. We will be back again tomorrow at 7 AM Grand Cayman time. And I hope to see you all then.
Thank you, Pat. That was awesome. And thank you, diveLIVE family. We'll see you tomorrow.